Hello and welcome to another episode of Campus Stories. I am your host Vince Russo and we have a great show planned for you today. Today we'll be talking about RMU's most successful sports team thus far in the school year, the women's hockey program. Not only have they broken the old school record for victories, piling up an impressive 21-5-2 record with 6 games remaining, but also have ascended all the way to 8th in the national rankings. They currently sit in 9th now, and on top of all that, program alumni Brianne McLaughlin made her second consecutive United States Olympic team. To elaborate more on the program's most recent success, we are very fortunate to have assistant coach Logan Biddle and assistant captain Brandy Pollock. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I'm going to get right into it. Talk a bit about the season so far, all the success you guys have had. Just talk about the season. How's it going?
Well, I'm so far so good. Obviously, getting off to the start that we got off to, we're really happy with that. Put ourselves in a pretty good position now, moving forward the last 6 games and then into playoffs, and that's all. You know, that's a good thing to be there, to get that recognition, to see where we are in the standings, and now it's just taking care of business and getting ready for playoffs and moving forward there.
What have been the real keys to success? What has made this team different than all the rest of the teams?
Go ahead.
You give her. You give her, I'll go.
Well, I mean, I think it all comes back to the hard work. For 4 years that I've been here, that's kind of been one of the things that we've been known for, is our hard work and our work ethic day in and day out. And this year's no different, obviously. Confidence is a big thing, and I think our girls should be riding pretty high with the season that they're having. And we just got to continue to build that momentum. But it all comes back to the hard work, and we're getting some, top to bottom, some top end performances day in and day out. So it's not necessarily just one person or the other that gets it done. It's somebody finds a way to get it done every day, and that's the key to a successful team.
Were there any players that either of you didn't know that coming into the season they'd have as much of an impact as they have thus far? Any performers that just came out of nowhere? Any dark horses?
Well, for me, Brittany Howard, just because I didn't know her. She's from Ontario. I'd never heard of her before, being from Manitoba, and then just coming right to Pittsburgh. And she's had a great season for us. She's been a huge contributor and had some big goals for us. Yeah,
I agree. Britt's been great, and I think all of our freshmen have come in and found a role that they can be effective. And I think other than them, like I said, top to bottom, the seniors are having their best year that they've had in 4, and then right down the line. So we're getting contributions from everybody, and I think that's huge. And when you can splash in a little bit of productivity from your freshmen, whether it be Britt, who's getting a lot of points, or Jessica Dodds, who's playing really well between the pipes, down to everybody, they're all contributing. So that's always a key to a successful team.
So what are some of the things behind the scenes that the public eye wouldn't notice just by watching the games, just by going and following the team online, things like that? What are some of the behind the scenes things that have made this team special, that have made it stand out from other teams?
I think you could probably answer that, Brandy.
Well, there's a lot. It's team bonding when you go on camping trips right at the start of the year and getting everyone right into it right off the bat, and having the freshmen feel comfortable. It's the workouts that we do that no one sees, the preseason, it's before you come here, working hard, knowing that your teammates are going to work hard and put 110% in. So it's just the little things like that.
And Brandy, how does it feel as a senior to be having the success your senior year, to be having the opportunity to make such an impact? I mean, you already have with the various records that your team has broken, but how does it feel to have the opportunity as a senior to end on such a high note and to set such a mark for the future of the program?
Well, I think all the seniors would agree. When we first came in, we didn't have a very good season. We only had 6 wins, which was hard. We learned how to embrace a loss and learn from it kind of that year, and we've made huge strides forward every year. It's not just this year. It was every year leading up to it. My sophomore year, we won CHAs, and that was a big year. We learned what it takes to win and that sort of thing. And then this year, we kind of just put it all together.
And if you guys had to predict how you see the season ending, obviously with a team that's performed so well, the sky's the limit. But where do you see, how far do you think you guys can go, and where do you see this team ending up?
Well, I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, putting ourselves in a position the first step is obviously to win the league regular season championship. And that comes down to the last 6 games here. And we do control our own destiny. If we win out, we're going to be league champions. So that's the expectation. Obviously, that comes with our next game against Syracuse. We don't win that one, we have to worry about other stuff. So we've kind of taken the mentality this year of day by day, and the next game is the most important, no matter who you're playing. And when you're in a situation where your league doesn't have an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, every game does matter. And the fact that 1, it matters for league points, and 2, it matters for where you are nationally. So no matter who you're playing, it's an important day, and I think our girls have taken to that pretty well. So I don't see why that would change coming down the last 6 games.
And since you talked about the Syracuse game this weekend, could you guys talk just a little bit about the Skate for a Cure weekend, kind of promote that a little bit?
Well, Brandy could probably talk a little bit more about it, but I know in the past we've done this, for a long time, and the girls work really, really hard to raise some money for a good cause. And I think this year they're selling cupcakes. We actually have a raffle that we're going to be doing at the game. You can buy tickets before, throughout the week, or at the game, where it's for 2 Penguins tickets, a signed Brooks Orpik stick, and I think a signed jersey as well from the girls. So hopefully we can raise a lot of money and do that. But the girls, I know, have been working pretty hard here the last couple of weeks to get stuff ready for this weekend.
All right, well, we will take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will continue to talk with Coach Biddle and Miss Pollock. Stay tuned.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer.
Okay.
What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, you lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sense. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, "Get a job." And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, "How can we change this?" And I said, "Sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world." My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
As you see there on the national rankings, Robert Morris, number 8 in the nation. Welcome back to Campus Stories. Assistant coach Logan Biddle and assistant team captain Brandy Pollock have joined us today to discuss the extremely successful women's hockey team here at RMU. Thank you again for joining us today. Now, before the break, you were telling me about the Skate for a Cure this weekend, how RMU and some of the other teams in your conference annually take a lot of the proceeds from games and have special promotional things to support breast cancer. And I feel like we didn't get to everything before the break ended, and you said you wanted to elaborate a little more, so
Well, yeah,
the floor is
Logan
yours.
touched on most of it. The only thing he missed was after the game there's going to be Skate with the Colonials. And then for the game there's going to be 2 shuttles there and back. and they're free, but you can donate $5 to get on, and there's going to be free pizza in between periods. So.
And for the skate with the Colonials, is there a cost for that?
No, that's free.
Awesome. So, continuing with you, Brandy, what was it like being nominated for the 2014 BYN Mellon Wealth Management Hockey Humanitarianism Award?
Well, it was a huge honor. It's nice to be able to give back and I guess be a little noticed for it, but in all honesty, it's not just me giving back to the community, it's a lot of my teammates, everyone's doing it. We have events that we all go to and help out with, so yeah, it's nice to be noticed and honored for it, but in reality, it's not just me doing it, it's all the teammates, it's the coaches, it's everyone giving back, where we can give back, so.
Could you talk a little bit more about some of the events that you've been involved with?
Yeah, well, this year there's the Ronald McDonald House that some of the team went to. We kind of went half and half. There was the Ronald McDonald House, and then we did a bingo day. So you could go to either one, or you could go to both. So we did those two, and then we made caramel apples with the elderly, which was fun. They had a lot of fun doing it. A lot of them couldn't figure out how to eat them, but it was fun just being there and seeing them laugh and smile. Even though if they didn't know what they were doing, they still were having a blast having people there. And our assistant coach, Janelle, brought her dogs in, and they just had a blast with the dogs, being able to pet them and have that opportunity. So.
Now, kind of a two-sided question. When you look back on this season, both of you, what will come to mind when you think about this season?
Well, from my point of view, being a member of the inaugural men's team in 2004, and being here for this is pretty much my 10th year involved at Robert Morris. To see the success that we're having it's great to look back and kind of realize where we've come from. We've taken such big jumps in just the few years that I've been back coaching, but to see Robert Morris, both the men's and the women's, but this year with the women in particular, the success that we're having and the notoriety that we're getting, it all comes back to the people that started the program, from the alumni, the players that have been here before, and the coaching staffs that have been here before, all played a part to see this success happen. And I think when you get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, you kind of tend to forget that stuff, but when you really step back and look at it, you can kind of realize what a successful year we're having and all the hard work from day one that went into this.
Honestly, I think he said it best, just because my freshman year we didn't have such a great season, and every other year before we've had on and off seasons, and everyone's been working towards the same goal of having success and being a really great powerhouse team. And I think when you look back at it, you're just going to see a lot of hard work, and everyone that put the effort in. It's not just one person or one memory. It's going to be a whole lot of memories and a whole lot of work that you're going to remember.
Especially with you coming towards the end of your collegiate career as a hockey player, what is going to be the lasting impact from your 4 years playing hockey and attending school here at Robert Morris?
I don't know. I'm just going to hard work. We obviously want the hard work to continue. That's basically what the team is based around. So. And
just what are your plans after you graduate?
Find a job, I guess. I don't know. I'm just kind of taking, like Logan said, our team takes one day at a time, and right now I'm really looking forward and trying to do the best with the season that we can. And when the season's over and we've done all we can do, I'll take one step forward in finding what I'm going to do next. And
now, kind of changing the pace a little bit and talking about Brianne going over, obviously making her second consecutive Olympic team. She'll represent the U.S. and Russia coming up here very soon. What does this mean to RMU to have this kind of alumni who has also been an assistant coach, who's been hands-on with the program, both as a player and a coach? Well, how does that impact the program?
Well, I can let Brandy talk about how it helps with the coaching staff, being on the staff. But as far as just how it affects the university a little bit, obviously the name recognition is great to have the name out there all the time. You saw in the Winter Classic when they announced the team, and she was there. Robert Morris is right underneath it. And I don't think we could have a better representative of the school, of the university than Bree. And she's a really, really proud alum, and she really enjoys being a part of the school, and she's always asking how things are going and getting the updates and all that stuff. So, I don't think there could be a better representative than her for the school, and she's doing a great job, and we're hoping for gold from her. But like I said, Brandy can maybe talk a little bit about the effects of her coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, just to touch on that, I agree with Logan. She does amazing with representing our school. And just as a coaching perspective, I didn't really get to be coached too much by her just because I wasn't a goalie, and she kind of took the lead on the goalies. But from what I heard from the goalies, she was amazing. They loved her. She gave great advice. She kept it light when it needed to be light. She knew when it needed to be serious, and she helped them with their game immensely, as you know, because that was the year we won CHAs. And right after that, we had an amazing year again with goaltending, and she was an all-around fun person to be around. She kept it light. She made you have fun. So.
We are headed to another break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more hockey talk on Campus Stories.
It's a completely different world. We were there to bring nursing care to some desperate people.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
The very first person that I met was David. Kept saying, "You have to come to my house and watch me play my trumpet." You could tell from the look on his face that it was just his most prized possession. I get back home. A few weeks later, I got a message that a gang had broken into his house at night and they stole it, which was his life. So next trip back, we gave him a new one. The look on his face was just complete disbelief. He just absolutely couldn't believe it. And to be able to do something like that is one of the best moments of my life. He said he'd never forget us.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer. What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
And we're back here on Campus Stories with a little information on Brianne McLaughlin. She graduated in 2009 and was a standout goalie for the Colonials hockey team. She made her debut for the Olympic team in Vancouver back in 2010 and earned herself a silver medal, and she'll be returning to the Olympics again this year. So we are back here now with Logan Biddle and Miss Pollock, the assistant coach and assistant captain for the hockey team this year. And we're going to continue talking about the great season they've been having thus far and a lot about Brianne McLaughlin. So getting back to her, what did RMU give her that allowed her to get to the level she's at now?
We kind of joke about this, but I mean, she came in and was part of the first program, first teams. So from time to time, being a new program, you obviously take your lumps and maybe give up a handful of shots on goal in any particular game. So facing 50 to 60 shots a night definitely makes you a little bit better. But I think it allowed her the opportunity to just be who she was. The pressure as a first, in the first 4 years of the program wasn't necessarily there to win. But at the same time, on any given night, if she went out and had a good performance and making 60 some odd shots, they could beat and play with any team in the country. So it allowed her to be herself. And I know, for example, her senior year, they beat Minnesota, who was number 3 in the country, and they got outshot like 63 to something like that. And so that's, with that win, that puts you on the map, and that's what allowed her to get noticed by some of the Team USA people. And then obviously after that, that was on her own merit with the tryouts with the U.S. national team. But I think that's what Robert Morris gave her, just the opportunity to be who she was.
You said that you didn't have a lot of interaction with her as far as coaching, but what was your relationship with her like besides that?
Well, she obviously graduated the year before I got here, so I didn't really know her as a player that way. But I did know her through just bus trips and being a coach, and you obviously interact with them. But I mean, when I didn't interact with her, I didn't interact with her on her coaching me, telling me what to do. That's obviously Logan's deal. He's the defensive coach. So when I say I didn't interact with her, I don't mean I didn't interact with her as a person. I just didn't get the coaching aspect that the goalies did.
And what was your, I mean, and still is, I mean, what explain the whole relationship that you have with her?
Well, we're married, so that's good. But we got married in July, and then she actually left for Boston in August. So I guess we're still newlyweds, technically, because we haven't spent that much time with each other. But no, I got to know Bree while we were going to school here playing. And obviously hockey players tend to gravitate towards hockey players. They got the same things in common. But we got to know each other. And then when I came back to school, things started back up. And the cool thing was is that with her helping out with the team, we got to work with each other every day. And so I figured if I could work with her every day and I still didn't want to kill each other, it was probably meant to be. So it worked out pretty good. And I'm excited to see her in Russia. And then I'm excited for her to get back home and to start normal life, I guess.
When she comes back, will she return to being an assistant coach?
She's not going to return to coaching. She's going to start. She's going to do goalie lessons with our strength and conditioning coach, Jeremy Hoy, who does both the men's and women's hockey team. He opened up a new gym, and she's going to put in an artificial crease and do all kinds of private lessons that way. So she'll be in coaching. She just won't coach with us.
Now, what skills and what did she possess that not only as an athlete but as a competitor? What are those intangibles that she had that made her stick out so much as a player?
Well, I think it's her work ethic. She worked really, really hard. I've never seen anybody work as hard as she does. I mean, even when she was a full-time assistant coach here at Robert Morris, she'd go and spend 4 hours at the gym after her day at work. So, I mean, I think that stands out right away. She's very, very athletic as a goaltender. So especially in the days at Robert Morris, that was basically what she played on, was her athleticism, her ability to move and jump and make those saves that nobody could make. Now, being with the national team for the last 3 or 4 years, she's had a goalie coach to really help her settle down and her movements, but she still has that ability to wow you. And that's something that most goalies don't possess, is the ability to stop the pucks they're supposed to stop and then steal some pucks that they're not supposed to stop. And that's something that Bree does. And
what her emotions, expectations, and things like that going into the Olympics. How's she feeling going into such another big opportunity?
Yeah, she's excited. They got over to Sochi yesterday. Was their first practice. They actually had a game today against Germany, and then I asked her what the score was. She said a lot to a little, so that's good. But they're really, really excited. I mean, obviously, you put 4 years of time and effort into something basically for 2 weeks. I mean, that's a lot of commitment that I don't think a lot of us could actually do. And really, and ultimately, it comes down to one game, and that's the gold medal game. And you got to be ready to be on that one night, and that's what the last 4 years is all about. And I think going into it, they're just really, really excited for the opportunity, because I don't think any of us can really understand what it actually means to represent your country and be an Olympian and go through all those processes. But she tries to explain it to me, and she said it was really, really neat and really, really cool. And I can imagine that it is. But I think that's basically what it is just major excitement going and getting ready to start the tournament.
And does she feel more comfortable the second time around?
I think it obviously helps. I mean, she got into the game last Olympics, and I think she was obviously pretty nervous. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but now I think she's going to be ready to go. And if she gets a shot to get in and play, which is always tough because there's only one goalie spot, right? But if she gets in, and I know she's going to be ready, and she to be there and be that veteran and have gone through that stuff, she can actually help some of the younger kids that are doing it for their first time and dealing with the media and dealing with the expectations that go with it. So I think she's much more prepared this time around, that's for sure.
Well, that is all the time that we have for today here on Campus Stories, but we will be back again next week. On behalf of our guests and our always awesome technical crew, we would like to say thank you and have a good one.